The mother planned to eat her own son, thinking he would taste awful, so she decided to roast him instead. It was a severe famine, and what would you do if you were in her place? Just then, it began to rain heavily, putting out the fire and awakening the mother's humanity. The baby's cries echoed across the land, but the mother still abandoned her crying child and ran away. But how could a child survive in such a hellish world? The answer was unexpected. He survived by eating people, and the people he ate were still alive. Chris, armed with a large axe, lived alone for 8 years. One day, he accidentally ate the local lord's child. The lord was furious and relentlessly pursued Chris. Chris was eventually forced to the edge of a cliff and fell off by accident. Below the cliff, it was like a mass grave. Luckily, the countless bodies of those who starved to death cushioned his fall, allowing Chris to survive. He climbed all the way up to a riverbank. While washing clothes by the river, Ellie discovered Chris and took him home. After meeting Ellie, Chris's humanity began to slowly return. Ellie patiently taught him knowledge, and Chris was happy. Thus, Chris lived under Ellie's secret care for a long time. The people in the village didn't know about Chris's existence, because if they found out, they would definitely inform the Lord, and Chris would be hunted down again. After spending a lot of time with Ellie, Chris began to have other thoughts. He believed that Ellie belonged to him alone. But slowly, he noticed that Ellie seemed to care less about him, and the time she spent with him was getting shorter. One day, Ellie said she was leaving and reminded Chris that he could gather wild vegetables and mushrooms to eat. Afterward, Chris finally realized that Ellie's visits were becoming less frequent because of a man named Jack. But Chris still persisted, believing that Ellie would come back to see him.